Good morning, goat lovers. We are going out to feed the goats. We'll go feed the goats. Hello, goat lovers. This is Crystal with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. What started with 4 chickens and 2 goats quickly grew into a lifestyle. So we moved, got more land, and of course, more goats. Follow our adventures as we grow our herd, our food, and our family.
Every morning, we give the chickens the leftovers from dinner the night before and preparing the meal the night before. Recycling.
Every morning, we bring our coffee and eggshells out to throw it on the compost pile.
Every morning I feed the dogs over here by the goats because we want them to protect the goats. The other half goes under Dane's mister.
Every morning, I grind some chicken food and mix it with some sand and alfalfa.
Every morning I feed the goats. They generally get 1 flake of alfalfa and 1 big scoop of alfalfa pellets, depending on how many goats are in that pen. They also get the same amount in the evening, and I feed based upon how much they ate. If they left a bunch of food on the ground from the previous feeding, I might not throw as much in there that feeding. Also give the chickens some alfalfa. They love it, and it makes your eggs nice and gold, not yellow. Lucky and them aren't getting fed today because they get to go out to graze. So they will get fed tonight, but all day they'll just be browsing on the pasture.
Now for the next step of my chores is to feed the cats.
My next step is to give the dogs bones. Oh, come on, Keeper. So every morning I go around and make sure all the girls and boys, all the goats are looking really good. Any signs of illness, obviously right now making sure, any signs of heat or anything like that. So that's kind of my job in the morning, to go around and look at my beautiful goats.
Say hi, Ebony. Every day, I get the scratch bucket ready for the goats while Dad is getting the electric fence ready for the goats.
Every morning I open this gate, I put these lines up and make sure their water's filled, and I also put a little water on the ground rod because it's really dry here and it helps shock them. These lines here are not hot, but the goats don't know that, so don't tell them, please.
That's the way we feed the goats so early in the morning.
Well, Luck Buck is thirsty after his long run. Another reason we've been running them is since May or so, we've been grazing them on the other side of the driveway. In another month, right around the time breeding season is done, they will have grazed off this side of our property. And then we have all of this other stuff to go. So the good news is we have enough grass and we have enough land, we have enough browse that it'll probably feed all our animals for a whole year, rotating them on it. But it'll only grow back once a year. We only get rain, enough rain for all the stuff to grow back in July, August, and September. So they've nibbled off this side of the property, and they won't be over here again until next July, next August, next September. So we won't have to run them when we're on this side of the property, which is coming soon.
So Lucky either wants Elsa back farther away from that fence there, or now would be the time. She might be letting off some scent if she did go back into heat. She's obviously not interested, and she does like Luck, so they can let the scent off a lot earlier than actually being open to be able to be bred and take. So we'll see. We'll just keep watching them. If she ends up standing and wagging for him, then we'll know she didn't take when we first put them together 3 weeks ago. So our goats are show quality goats. We breed for show, obviously conformation, good milk production, things like that. And our goal is to have 25 does and 4 or 5 bucks. We currently have 15 does, counting Lodi. Only 14 we're breeding right now. But 15 is what we have so far, and then the 4 bucks. But yeah, I really want to get up to 25. I would love this year to just be able to retain the 10 that I want to build the herd, but that's also how we make money to feed them throughout the year or make any improvements around the ranch. So we're gonna, every year we get a little bit closer, but you know, one doe at a time.
So I would like to have ducks. Years ago, I had Muscovy ducks, and they breed very rapidly. And at one point, I had about 100 of them. Then we had to switch gears and get out of Muscovy ducks for a few other reasons. But I would like to have ducks again. Years ago, I chose Muscovies because they're silent ducks, and we were on an acre, and we had neighbors and different zoning than we do now. Now that we're at the ranch, I might like runner ducks or Peking ducks. What works for you guys? What do you like better? Muscovies, runner ducks, Peking ducks? I know Pekings are very, very tasty.
I myself really want some pigs. I've researched a lot of the different types of pigs, and pretty positive I want coonies. They are a heritage breed, so they don't grow as quickly as some of the other breeds do, but their meat tastes really good. They're a pig that can graze. They're pretty adorable, and you can show these pigs. So obviously I'm into the showing, so that's also, you know, pretty neat. But they're getting to be a pretty popular pig, so if we needed to sell the excess amount of pigs and, you know, also have some for meat and have breeding stock that I could potentially show. So really wanting to add some pigs here soon. And the coonies, from what I understand, will go to the bathroom, poop in one spot so that they don't muck up their whole pen. They don't poop on their feed. And they're very smart pigs. You know, I can't get the goats to not poop. That'd be awesome if we could get them to poop in one spot. So it'll be a lot easier cleanup for Derek.
So the word barn means different things in different parts of the country. Where I grew up, a barn is 2 stories tall, it has a basement, and it's red. In Arizona, it's just a big shade. That's it. Our problem in Arizona, in southern Arizona where I live, is the sun. It's hot. In the winter, where we live, it'll get down in the mid-20s a couple of times, but that's it. Even when it does that, it'll still get to the 50s that day. So we just need shelter from the sun. Our barn might have windbreaks on the side, or at least the option to put some windbreaks up to give extra protection. But so we don't need a barn like Al Lumna needs a barn. It's very cold where he's at, and just doesn't get that cold where we are. So that's what our barn will look like one day. Almost. So, if you can see it, all of these pins are basically the footprint of where our goat barn will be one day. It'll be pretty massive. These pins are, just those 3 up there are 32 by 48. And this one here is about the same, 16 by 32. There's a 5-foot walkway in there, which may not be there in the final barn design. So the garden here keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it'll probably get bigger a couple of more times. There's a lot of things that we want to grow that we haven't gotten to grow yet. We don't have a spot for watermelons or cantaloupes or pumpkins or asparagus. We want permanent herbs, you know, a spot for them. We want raspberries and blackberries and, you know, berries, all kinds of cool stuff. So the garden will probably continue to get bigger.
And I would love to have fruit trees. Where we're at, the peaches, pears, apples, green apples, red apples, all those types of fruit trees I would really love to have.
Pomegranates,
and they do well in our climate, so
mulberries,
all those things, all the fruits. So hopefully we will be able to plant some trees here soon, and thinking maybe off in that area, but we don't know yet. So haven't quite figured out where we want any of those trees or how many we want of each, but we do know we want them. And we got a little more research to do as far as cross-pollinating and whatnot is concerned, so, but we will have them.
So this area here will be our outdoor kitchen one day. Underneath this brush pile that Crystal brought home and put here for some reason is a big concrete slab. And the previous owners had a shade up here that blew down before we moved in. And they used to celebrate Oktoberfest every year, which is pretty cool. But one day this will have a new shade over it with trellises growing up each side hopefully with berries and herbs. And it'll be our outdoor dining area. And I can't wait. In this brick thing, I'm going to put this sink on the one side that I brought home from a remodel job. And on the other side, I'd like to have a gas grill. So if it's too windy, or depending on what dishes we're cooking, we have the gas grill as an option. And of course, we have the fire ring over there that we always use. So my hopeful idea for the outdoor kitchen area is to be able to walk out of the house with meat, and everything else that I need for the meal is outside. Everything else, the plates, everything. You walk out of the house with the meat and cook dinner as a family outside. I can't wait. I just need Crystal to clean up all this stuff. But seriously though, I brought the brush pile home from a tree trimming job, and I brought it because a lot of those don't have needles on them. I'm going to make fence stays out of them, and the rest of the stuff is going to end up being you know, something on top of that old shade in the bag canopy there. So there's also a little concrete slab right here with a 30 amp breaker right there. There used to be a hot tub wooden deck around this thing, so it was bigger, and the hot tub set on this slab. But all the wood was rotted and the dogs kept getting stuck under it, so we tore it down. Well, Darren tore it down and built a tree house out of it, but we don't know what to do with this slab area. It's under a nice canopy of mesquite trees, so it's shaded all summer. Might not be an ideal spot to grow anything. Also, all the runoff from like half of the property comes down the driveway and kind of flows right through and even under this thing. So we don't know what to do with this area. If anybody has any ideas, leave them in the comments below.
Say hi. Look how strong. What you doing? So this is a chicken coop that was here when we moved in. Pretty sure the previous owner didn't have any chickens, the way it's set up and everything, so we don't use it. But Derek, for chickens, but Derek does use it as like a mini tool shed. So this big barn behind us, you know, obviously might wonder why we don't have our animals in the barn that was already here. Well, we don't use it because it is very close to the neighbors. It's right on top of the neighbor's back fence there. And not only do the dogs run along that fence, his dogs and our dogs, and fight, and it'll stress the animals out. And then, of course, the neighbors, if you can imagine a new neighbor moving in and putting 20 plus goats here on the fence, might not make you too happy. And there's always coyotes as well, just running along this fence outside of our yard because of our dogs. But just not an ideal spot for the barn as far as our animals are concerned.
So this is the inside of the metal barn. I basically just throw tools when they break in here for now, and Darren has turned half of this building into his bicycle mechanic shop, and here he is now taking a pedal off of something. What you doing there, son?
I'm going to replace one of the plastic ones with a stronger one on one of the other bikes.
Nice. So this barn is not big enough to pull a vehicle in completely. You can pull the front end of a vehicle in and work on something, you know, and get out of the rain. Again, if it were ever raining, that might help you, but it doesn't rain here. So on this side of the barn over here, one day will be a shop for metal and woodworking and anything else that I might need to do. And then another thing here on the ranch that we need is a guest cabin or a bunkhouse or something. So on this side over here is where I'd like to build a bunkhouse or a guest cabin. Obviously, it needs some work. If you know anything about framing or anything, look at that. How sound does that look, huh? Well, it's not very sound. Emily already fell out of a hayloft in here right when we moved in and broke her arm. So it needs some work. It does leak in here, but this is an ideal spot. We don't want to clutter up the whole property with buildings There's already power and water over here to this building. Needs a cement floor, needs lots of work, but I've been in construction for a long, long time, so this is stuff that I know how to do and look forward to doing it, especially with my son. So one day this will be the guest cabin. One day.
But we just wanted to share with you guys what our goals are as of now, and things always change from day to day, obviously, and all of those things are going to take some time, you know, in regards to money and just everyday tasks that we have going on at all times. So just thought we'd share that with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. See you again soon.